Hey, Claude, do you miss the fact that I'm not in the office this week?
Yes, I do. That's not fair. I don't like it. But we're still talking.
We're still talking nonstop.
Yeah. How are you?
Yet,
How was the trip this time?
it's good. The weather is actually nicer here than you're experiencing.
I know. So here, you're not here, and it's ugly outside too.
Had a nice 78-degree day. Got to walk around. It was fantastic. Speaking of fun times, our guests this week definitely are great examples of those that like to have fun. And those that have become like family, which I think last week we kind of like tiptoed into this whole topic about how work besties can be more than just best friends. They can almost become an extension of a family. I feel like this week's episode is definitely an example where it becomes actual family members, right?
Yeah. Total family. And that was so beautiful to hear and to really see from the beginning of, which for me was a bit funny because, I mean, you all hear how they start and what their first conversation, but then how it developed. And it was so inspiring to say, oh yeah, she came to the wedding. She's always for my kids' birthdays. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And how Karin shows up in ways that you would not even expect a best friend or, some of your closest family members to show up, but she does. And Mo the same way. It's to your point, inspirational. And I hope everybody has someone like this in their life because it's so empowering to hear how a by chance circumstance in a work environment can lead to somebody that becomes that important in your life.
No, that was it was incredible.
Yeah. So with that, let's let them speak for themselves.
Work Besties!
Hello, ladies. I'm so excited to have you guys on our little podcast. I feel like you guys were on my original list because I have known you for quite some time and know that you guys have been work besties for quite some time. In fact, I was very envious when I first met you two, thinking, how do I get my work bestie like this? So I'm so excited to have Karin and Mo. Tell us about yourself.
Born in Queens, as if you couldn't tell, I'm from here. So I'm the youngest of three children. We are first generation U.S. My parents are both immigrants from Germany after the war. They packed up. We moved from the city to Westchester to the suburbs. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the city called this upstate because it was over one bridge. So it was upstate New York, even though it's Westchester County. I saw my father grow up in like the beverage industry, and my brothers worked in it for a while and everything else. And it's just kind of led me into this business. They were in the operation side. I ended up on the sales side because they didn't want me driving a forklift or something. That's how I ended up there.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that either. So I've been in beverage for my whole life, and now I'm old. It's a long time.
Been a bit. We'll just say it's been a bit. Mo.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm from one of 8 children, born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. My mother and father moved from Georgia. Let me go back. My grandmother moved from Georgia right around the time when the North was less Jim Crow, but they didn't really know. Mm-hmm. Truly, because it was still Jim Crow here. My mother and father met. They had 8 kids.
Wow.
And I am third from the bottom. But we're really close family. Yeah, we're close family. I was the first to graduate college in my family. I got my first professional job, first professional car. Yeah, and I've been in CPG for,
a minute.
I'm old. I don't even want to date myself. Way over 20 years. Way over 20 years. Well over.
Kind of solidified or brought you two together to be work besties. Do you remember?
You know what? Karin tells the story better than me.
Do it, Karin.
Well, we were working at Organization A, right? And Mo had been there for a while. I don't know how long you were there. How many?
5 years.
and I was working in a different capacity in this organization. She was operations, sales operations, and I was in a more of a key account role-ish thing. I was working for a person who I was very new, and this person directed me in how to interact with the sales facilities. Basically, how to assess their performance going out into the trade, reporting back to their bosses, and things of that nature. And I was young enough and green enough that I actually listened to this guy. And all it was throwing gasoline on fires. I was just pissing everybody off. I was brand new, and all I did was aggravate everybody I came into contact with, right? So at one point, I have to go to Jersey to see her, right? I'm relatively new, and I have an appointment. No, I think she sent me an email, because I think she had it up to here with my stupid emails and recaps and stuff. And so she said, why don't you come and meet me in wherever we were in New Jersey? And I said, sure. I took her up on that. So I go to that facility. They let me in. Now I wait for her. It was just like this. Ramona took me into the office, and she was basically like, what the fuck do you think you're doing right now? You have no idea what is going on in this business. Girl, I don't know you. You don't know me, but you are causing nothing but problems. You have no idea what I'm dealing with here and all this other stuff. But she was right. I was just like, shooting at people. I had no perspective on it. I was new to it. I didn't know what was involved in operations. And she was just like, you are not going to get anywhere doing this. She told me how to go about it. And I did. And I really listened to her, because she was right. And I knew people weren't responding well. It's kind of like, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Everything.
Why is everyone so mad?
Yeah. Why are they so mad at me? I'm just getting everybody
because you're literally telling everyone they suck at their job.
And reported on top of it.
With no idea actually how to do it.
So from that point on, I deferred to Ramona for a lot of how to go about how would you tackle this? How would you tackle that with operations and everything else to make sure I'm not. And I started to listening to her, taking her lead versus my own bosses. And it went way, way better for me. And then pretty quickly on, we paired up in a work sense that I respected her. And then we had personal things that happened, and I'll let Ramona get into that. But that really cemented our friendship and everything. It went well beyond work. So,
but she says that, I was hard on her. I was just so confused by all these emails, because back then you didn't check your phone like that. You were in the trade, right?
Yeah.
And they expected you to do emails from 9 to 5 in the morning. Like, nobody's doing that. But when I met Karin, I knew that I liked her. I started advocating for her with my own team.
Aww.
Like, she needs something at this store. You need to make sure that happens. Oh, come on. She asks too much. I don't care. She's good people. We got to help her. Karin and I used to be on the phone for 4 or 5 hours after work, talking about everything under the sun. She was the one who gave me room to learn something different about humanity. That's the God's honest truth.
That's impactful. Wow.
That's true. I mean, we would be on the phone for hours. And this wasn't like one day. This would be like multiple days in a week. God forbid the weekend, right, Karin? We'd be on the phone for hours. And it's like, oh, girl, I got a nail appointment at 12. Like, okay, bye.
Call you after.
She's been my rock. When my daughters, I have twins. When I was going through a divorce, Karin was the one that helped me send Danielle to Pepperdine Law School in New York, in London. Karin was the one who showed up for Dominique when she was going to Switzerland to be with the WHO, World Health Organization. Yep. Karin did those things.
Ramona exaggerates. I was adopted into the family. I've been a single woman forever in a career, and that's my family. Ramona's my family. So it's just that's what we are.
Yeah, but that's
the God's honest truth.
That's the next
level. So the organization
right?
brought us together.
Yeah,
the organization brought us together, but when we both left, they couldn't keep us apart.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Work was
didn't matter.
Even when you guys were still at the same company, because that's full transparency. That's how all three of us know each other. Is we all worked in that same company at one point in time too. I feel like there was you guys were inseparable. There was everybody knew that you two.
We got in trouble together. We
said one name or you knew if it was like Karin, you're like, oh, that was coming.
Every meeting. Every meeting.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it definitely, but it was never in a negative way. It was always in a very positive way. And people always really appreciated.
We didn't beat anybody up.
No, you always made more lighthearted. I mean, you may have made jokes, but it was always very lighthearted.
We always made jokes. But just to each other.
I mean, and in fairness, there was a time, because I was fairly new to that division at one point, when I interacted with you, Mo, and I feel like you kind of adopted me. Not exactly the same situation as Karin, but I sent an email that apparently was very harsh, and you reined me in. Well, first you sent an email back that I was like, whoa, that's not what I meant. Where is this coming from? But you were very sweet. You were like, I don't know why you're being so abrupt about this. We're all in this together. And
yeah, because we were. Yeah. Because we were. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that out of all those experiences, I was always giving.
Yes.
You know? Yep. And so
you were always mentoring, whether people knew it or not. Like, you were always so helpful. Always.
But the only people that helped me were people like y'all. But I think also, too, women, well, for me anyway, I can't speak for all women. I like to make sure that we're okay.
Yeah.
I got daughters.
Yeah. Well, I will say, the very first, where we all first worked together, it was a more male-dominated company, especially in the management and C-suite level. And you were probably one of the first to reach out to me and help counsel me and move me forward. Because there was a lot of animosity, don't you feel like? I think, not animosity, that's not the right word for it. I think there was a lot of
animosity. It was animosity.
It was because there wasn't a lot of us in the room. So it was like...
They were cruel to us.
Yes.
They were what?
It was like... a lot of the other women had to prove themselves and prove their way too. So it wasn't let's help the next crew to come to the table,
which is weird.
Yeah,
right, because honestly, and it was odd because Karin and I have such a camaraderie, right? We really watch each other's back, but there's also an accountability that happens with us. If she believes that I was stepping out of a box that was dangerous for me, she'd rein me in, and vice versa.
That's great.
So that's what you want from your work bestie.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out there by yourself. You don't. It's bad out there by yourself.
You need a work bestie who's going to be on.
Exactly. You don't want a yes person, And
then you lean on each other's strengths, right? So we both have our area, but I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest, Karin is brilliant. She is. She's brilliant. And she can get into the most complex of situations.
Find your way out of it.
Personalities, all of it. And maneuver. It's hilarious. I'm like, look at you, boo. Go, Karin.
Ramona is
go. That's what I do.
You need to understand, Ramona is on medication right now, and she doesn't.
No, I'm not.
I'm kidding, but no, she exaggerates. But it's like
I'm not exaggerating.
We were a yin and yang, right? Like
yeah, you still are. You definitely still are.
This woman, we could go into any room, any strange situation, complete strangers, a ballroom or whatever it is, and by the end of it, they'd all be like, rah, 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 Ramona.
Yes.
And by extension, I was also brought into those communities and those relationships and things like that, which I would not have been able to.
A quick thing on you, though, Mo, I just want to say, just because I know we're giving Karin, you deserve all the praise, so please know that. But we do, Mo, you need praise too. You are, not only can you command a room and everybody loves you, the other thing about you is you always have the right bit of wisdom to give to somebody, but at the right time, which is a gift in and of itself, because there are times when you say stuff to people and it just goes over their head, and you'll start, like, I know that there's been times you've actually chatted with me and you start something and you're like, nope, not ready. Like, I could see it in your head, like, she's not going to listen right now, so let's just move on.
I appreciate that.
All right, tell the story. This is a funny
Karin
one.
Karin and I were so close, right, that we started calling each other husbands. She said one day, this is true, we were drinking. As a matter of fact, we were on a call with some people, and we were joking about the person on the call, but Karin didn't have her phone muted.
Oh, Karin.
We were in her house, eating beautiful English muffins with tuna.
Oh my God,
cheese.
Karen is losing it over there. Look at this.
And somebody said, the leader of the call said, "We can hear you." We were on the floor. We were crying.
Oh
we
my
were laughing
God.
so hard. The bottom line was, she said to me, "If I never get married, and if you never get married, let's get married. You're my husband." And I said, "We are husbands." And we, so that translated to Jessica. So
Yeah.
I had this account, and Jessica was working on the account too. Horrible account, by the way.
It had its challenges.
Go for a trip. So we go on a work trip, and they thought Jess and I were a couple.
Yeah.
So they come up to Jess and say, "Where's your partner?" She was like, "Who? What? Ramon? Oh, I don't know where she is." And then she tells me what was being said, and we were like, "Husbands all weekend."
We're like, we're owning this. We are gonna own it.
We're gonna play it up. We're gonna make it ratchet up 1,000, and we did. We hold hands. We saw certain people.
That's awesome.
It was great. It's like, I don't have to explain anything to these people.
No,
They're horrible people anyway. That's how that happened.
Oh, that was amazing. It was fantastic.
That was a good time,
I always
though.
wanted to know the story because I saw the email, right? And the subject is husband. Hi, husband. And I'm
it's titled My Husband.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is that?
That's what that comes from. They were horrible.
They were.
I was just in a meeting in my company. They had a one page where everybody had to put up something about their families, and everybody has their spouses and this and that and everything else. So my page was a picture of Ramona and the girls, and I was like, "This is my husband Ramona and my daughters Dominique and Danielle." That's how I played it.
That's amazing.
Oh, you guys, I'm not married, so what?
Yeah,
that's right.
It's your family. You just said it before. It's your family, exactly. And that's amazing.
My family. It's my family. My family loves Karin. I mean, we're family. It is what it is.
I wanted to know because, and that is really to understand the dynamic, right? Because at the beginning, you said, she came to my office and I laid it out. What are you doing, etc. And then you say, so I liked her from the start. But how does it go from, hey, what are you doing and everything? And like, is it because she listened to you? Or Karin also, how did you react to more? Like, because I'm sure there was that connection from the start. But what really made it that suddenly, those are my people?
I was stunned initially. And then I realized.
She was like this.
But then she made really good points. And I was like, yeah, why am I listening to this guy? He seems like a pompous ass anyway. Why am I following his lead? You know what I mean? It made sense to me. It just made perfect sense. And then aside from the corrections, she was kind. Jessica, to your point, she was correct. She was fair. And it was
factual.
It was fact. It was fact-based. It wasn't opinion-based. It wasn't personal. It was all based in my actions about our work. And she had a better solution to all of it. And I was just like, this bitch is smart. And that.
You learned that from Desi Lou, right? Well, for me, Claudie, it was I liked her. There was no reason for me to dislike her. People will have opinions of others, and most of the time that stuff is gossip. And honestly, I don't lean into it. I don't lean into gossip.
Grateful.
I don't. It's negative. It's not good for your spirit or your soul. Right? And we're working, 12, 14 hours a day. That environment was 14 hours if you were in operations. Yeah. Sometimes it would be 24 if you had a crew tour.
Yeah.
Right? So you didn't play. So no, I didn't have time for that. So I shared with her what I thought. She seemed fair. And we began to work from there. Honestly, we literally were on the phone not too much longer after that. The first time was like almost 6 hours. It was on a Saturday. It was crazy. It's like, did we just talk? What were you talking about?
But it got personal instead of work. It got shifted. Personal. Yeah.
But one of the things about you that I find most impressive, and I'm kind of curious how you do it, you do have this way about you where you can kind of read a person really well. So to your point, like you could just sense Karin was a good person. What is that, or what are the tricks that you can provide to others on that? Because that's a really great skill to have to get a work bestie.
Yeah. It's discernment.
Okay.
It's discernment. Most people have discernment, especially women, right? So it is the thing that says, don't get in that line. And you ignore it and you get in the line.
Yeah.
And now you're in line for hours. Or, I shouldn't go that way, but you go the other way. And now you can't reach where you need to reach in time. We all have it. We just don't listen to it. I'm just more tapped into mine.
Yeah.
That's all.
How do you get more tapped into it? I don't listen to it.
You know what? Honestly, meditation.
Oh, okay.
Slowing it down, talking to your bestie. Honestly, I don't talk to many people. One of the things about me, and Karin will tell you this to be very true, a lot of people will say that they're my best friend.
Yeah.
But I won't say that about everybody. Karin is my best friend.
Yeah.
You are a best friend, Jess. You understand? So but Karin knows everything that's going on with me. I have to be able to take whatever's going on in my life and give it to my best friend, and she holds it to her heart and sacred.
Okay.
We're able to take whatever we're feeling and put it somewhere safe.
Yeah.
Where nobody can abuse it or mistreat it.
Right.
And that's what I have. That's what I have in Karin. I could cry at a moment notice just thinking about how, she supports me and she knows me. Like I am I'm very quiet when I'm going through something, and I'm learning. It's crazy. This is the season where I'm learning how to ask for help. And it's very hard, because I've always had to do everything.
Yeah. You've been such a strong
right?
person, not just for you, but for so many other people. You've been the shoulders for...
And it's been tough,
Many
and
people.
So,
yeah. Oh, no, this is a good lesson for you, though. You're only
Karin
one person.
Is my lesson. She's my lesson.
Oh, Karin.
Karin's my lesson.
Ramona is my heart.
Oh, my goodness.
The two of you.
I know, we're so mushy.
You really... But just to think, how random is this world that you both worked at the same company, had the opportunity to interact, and it wasn't a great first experience as far as meeting each other, but you both overcame that, and this is what has now ensued. Many years of a fantastic partnership and relationship.
And I can't even begin to tell you, Jessica, what my life would be like without her.
Oh.
I mean, it's as simple as that. She's the other half of me. Otherwise, I'm alone floating around in this universe. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Surrounds me. And we can't just keep it all mush, right? Because the other side of this is I have laughed harder with Ramona than anybody on the entire planet, to the point where you pee your pants and you can't see, and the snot flying out of your nose, and and you can't breathe and you can't catch your breath. I mean, that kind of wild laughter. I mean, to the point where we're so stupid and we get so excited to see each other. Let me give you a sense of this. We had some shit going on the west side of Manhattan, some kind of meeting, and I was there first, and we're on the phone, and we're pulling up. She's like, yeah, I'm coming now. I'm going to park and everything else. And I run outside of the thing, and I see her car pulling in, and she's so busy, excited to see me. And she hits the curb, she blows her tire, and she's got a flat. She's stuck on the
That shit hit the side of the wood. It hit that curb. I was like, she was like, no. So I'm thinking she's going, hey. It was a Lucy Effer moment. I'm thinking she's going, hey. And then she was saying, no, don't do it. Like, yes. I said, how happened? And I'm like, look at me. And it hit, and it said, I was like, she was like, I was trying to tell you. We've had some times.
Oh my God, that's so fun. It's really fun.
This is funny. This is gonna be funny.
One. All right, so you guys did work together for a while, but when you did separate and go to different companies, how did you guys keep the bond? Obviously, you guys were already talking on the phone all the time, but was there any Anything else different
No.
you did? Like, did your relationship change at all, or was it pretty much same old? Okay.
No. Karin and I respect each other. We respect the people that we are first.
Yeah.
And I don't put any demands on Karin. I don't put any demands on her, and she don't put any on me.
It's pretty
your family, or kind of
it's pretty liberating that there's no expectation. Where, I mean, I have other friends that if there's an interval or an expected, I don't know, behavior or cadence or something like that to the relationship, and it doesn't. For Mo and I, it's just a living, breathing, relationship. It's like, if you need time, you need time. If I'm off to we always check in, and then God forbid when we connect, it's for hours and hours and hours again, or whatever it is. And but yeah, there's no expectation, right? But you just wanna be there for the other person.
Think about future generations. What would be recommendations? Like, how do you help them find what you have with Karin?
I think people need to be authentic and be willing to be vulnerable with another person. They're going to have to be true to themselves and their friends. You can't hide from your friend. Look, any relationship deserves a level of vulnerability, right? And honesty. And you cannot be so mad if somebody makes a mistake.
Right.
Let it go. Nothing is more important than the relationship that you have that's in front of you. Be fucking present. Listen, speak. That's the universal sign for communication. I'm glad you're doing well, Jess. I'm glad you got Claudie.
That's really cool for you guys too. Yeah, that's really nice.
Thank you for doing that. You guys did amazing. We
we do that.
Yeah, we just talk. We're conversationalists.
I loved it though. It didn't.
Right.
It went fast.
Natural and authentic instead of much better.
I loved it.
Well, I know that it's been great with her.
Time to recap what we just experienced with those two family members, shall we call them? Not even work besties, work family members. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, but I think this was a very interesting take on what we've experienced over the last couple of episodes. And the thing that stood out to me, outside of the fact that they definitely are family, not best friends, they're like the next echelon, was when Mo commented about how others can learn how to find this bestie or this work family by tapping into your own discernment. And to me, I'm really bad at that. Listening to my inner voice, taking that step back, hearing. It's a hard thing to do, but it makes so much sense.
Totally. You have to be in touch with yourself too. But no, it was very, very interesting. But there was she says, you need discernment, but she had discernment the first time that she met Karin. But Karin had this discernment back because she was able to receive, her feedback, her constructive, feedback. Because you could go to anywhere, sometimes you can say, why are you talking to me like that? So I think Karin also had that discernment, and it was at the right people at the right moment at the right time, right?
Which is one of the things I commented about for Mo that I think stands out from other individuals that I've had in my life. She is so good at providing feedback when that person is ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And that is a skill, a very hard, fine skill that you would have to work on to get to that level. But her explanation of how she got to that is really interesting. And I think something I will take stock on and start to do is, whether it's meditation, whether it's slowing down, whether it's literally just wondering why, is something that I think we're always moving so fast and furious and trying to get to some type of solve that for that to be the how and why to get to find your new work bestie or your new family member or whatever, to me is something so cool. And it feels like it should be simple. It's not, but it feels like it should
not. and having that understanding and trusting that little voice
inside your head. Yeah.
Inside your head.
But why not? I mean, we take the whole purpose of this Work Bestie podcast is to help find connections to support each other. So why wouldn't you want to support yourself in that journey?
No, totally.
Oh, no, very maybe we should change our tagline.
I know. Yeah.
Not that we didn't say that one right either.
No, or maybe work besties who meditate.
I was going to say work besties who support themselves.
Yeah.
All right. On that regard, why don't we say our actual tagline? Ready?
To
all the work besties,
all the work besties out there.
Keep
supporting each other.
Not even close.
That was the worst. Talk to you next week. Bye.